So today we are changing out two fluids in TITAN2Valve. One is an oil change. Second is a antifreeze coolant change. All right, because I never did it when I bought the car. All right, I only did an oil change and a transmission fluid change right after I got the car, and I didn't do a coolant change in TITAN2Valve. So I've always heard when you buy a car, you should always change out all the fluids. And so I only did it for the oil change and the transmission. And I didn't forget, I just got lazy and I didn't do it to the coolant. So today I decided I have to, because it's due for an oil change, and I wanted to eventually get that coolant done because I don't know what's in the system. I haven't even checked, honestly. When I bought the car, it was so mint, I didn't even bother to look at all the fluids. I wanted to buy it and it looked amazing and I just bought it. My mistake. I should have, even though it was a great deal, it's been a great car, I should have looked at those things, because it's important. When you do buy a new car, especially from a private owner, you want to change all those fluids. You want to make sure you look at all those fluids when you buy the car, because you never know what they've done to it, what they've put into it. So here we go. I have my jack, have some tools, have all the coolant I need. I have 2 tins, all right, because I know the minute I crack open that coolant, there's like not a nut, but a bolt. There's a plastic bolt. It's gonna keep on coming out, and I do not want to worry about having it go everywhere. I have 6 quarts of oil, a filter, my oil pan, and I'm kind of excited about this. So I don't know if you guys have seen this, but it's called a no spill coolant funnel kit, and it has all these different attachments inside, and it's like not specific, but it is used for a ton of different cars. And then I have my oil filter, I would assume like wrench is what they would call these. I already have the car on jacks and the floor jack there to support it. I have my oil pan ready. The first thing we are doing is the oil, so I'm just gonna crack this open. Crack it open, leave it just like that, so that when I unplug the bolt from the bottom, it kind of flows smoothly instead of like just spitting out a ton. So let's hop under the car. I gotta unscrew this bolt. It's a 16mm bolt. I have my oil pan, and the reason I have plastic down is because the last time I did this, it was on a semi-windy day, and the last few drops, it wasn't even the last few drops, it had like a small stream coming out still, but it was going everywhere because it was just, there was a wind that was coming and it was just making a mess. So the bolt is a 16mm bolt. Got it right there. Make sure that the wrench is to loosen. Yeah, so if you guys hear the plastic moving, is because the wrong way, is because it's a windy day, like I said. So we'll see. I am not a mechanic nor a professional, so I can guarantee you. Oh, and the last time I did this, it was kind of funny. I didn't have tools yet. Oh, already starting to get a leak. I didn't have tools yet, so I actually spilled. It was kind of funny. I actually dropped my father-in-law's ratchet in the pan of oil. So literally had to like wipe it down, spray WD-40 on it and stuff. Hey, I mean, I got a little bit on my fingers, but not bad. Spray WD-40 on it because I literally dropped this man's tool in this thing of oil. So while that is, the pan is finished leaking, I'm gonna get the next oil filter ready to get put in. So typically a trick that I've heard is fill it up about halfway with oil. All right, that thing does not want to, there you go. Fill it about halfway with oil. All right, let's do about that. And then another trick I heard was that to not let this O-ring kind of get pinched and get messed up, what you want to do is that little bit of oil that kind of just stayed on the top, you kind of want to rub it on the O-ring so that it doesn't get pinched and break. This part is not as easy as the oil. This part you kind of gotta get around through some lines and stuff, and this part you are going to make a small mess. Nothing big, but a small mess. Let me see. Ooh, I just hit the camera. Let me push this back and let me see. You're just supposed to hand tighten this, and that's what I did the last time. So let me see if I could take it off by hand. Righty tighty, lefty loosey, yeah. Let me see if I could just take it off by hand, keep this rag nearby so that I don't make a huge mess. No, I can't get it out by hand. So, the good thing, where did I put it? The good thing about having tools is, and having the right tools. I think having the right tools is super important when you want to kind of do this stuff to your car. And so I picked one up the first time I did this, and it was honestly really nice. So just loosen this up. Like I said, you are gonna, whoa, I almost hit myself in the face. Like I said, you are gonna make a small mess. Nothing big, it's gonna be small. All right, come on. So that's why I keep a rag nearby, right underneath it all. And I hit the camera again. I'm terrible at this. All right, there you go. Keep that nearby. And then what I do is I'm gonna pull it out this way and kind of hold it upside down so that, because there is oil still left in here. And so I don't wanna get that everywhere. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Yep, like I said, you are gonna make a mess. I don't know if you guys can see that, but yes, I made a mess. Alright, there you go, it's out. Move this towel. Alright, and so let's say you aren't a professional like me and you make a ton of mess, just like I did. Honestly, the first time I did not make the mess I just made right now. But let's say again, you aren't a professional, just like me. I'm not a professional. I just do this for fun. I enjoy doing it. I have a good time. You're gonna make a mess. Just grab some brake cleaner and kind of just, so keep the rag underneath and kind of just spray it, all that out. You don't want unwanted oil getting everywhere. Now I'm just trying to wipe down as much as I can. It's still dripping over there, but that's just a small drip that's happening. So I'll probably finish up, close that off, and wipe that down over there. All that is cleaned up. Now it is time to put the new oil filter on. Let me wipe it up, it got a little dirty. Put the new oil filter on and hand tighten. So this is all just hand tighten, nice and snug. You don't want to mess this up. And remember, since you do put a little oil in here, because you don't want to get the system dry, let me actually grab it up, the rag to hold down here to make sure that I, again, am not making a huge mess. Wipe my hands off and wipe this off so I can get a good grip on it to hand tighten. Alright, now let me wipe off the hands and come in here, just give it a nice hand tighten. It is time to add the bolt back in. You're gonna have a drip, like just steady drip that keeps on happening. Once that happens, you're empty, you're good. It's just a little bit of a few drops that still come out, and that if you wait for that, you'll be here for the next hour. So grab your rag, wipe off that little drip that you have. And then grab your ratchet and just tighten it back up. And so Ford kind of put like a little marker on kind of like if it loosens up, and so I kind of go off of that. So I kind of set it back to that. So it's nice and snug. We are back on top of the car. Kind of put that to the side. And it's just time to add oil right now. So I use the small quart first. Actually, I will not use the small quart first. I'm gonna use the big quart first. Kind of make sure I'm good with 5 quarts. Check the oil. And then add the 6. So this is probably the most tedious part. You just gotta pour it and wait. And I've spilled a little bit already, praise God. So I had a 2014 Jetta GLI before, and I've always kind of been into cars, but I've always been into cars, but I've always kind of been intimidated to do all this stuff. And so I gave the Jetta to my mom and kind of regretted ever doing it. I literally, the only thing I did to that car was add wheel spacers to it. And kind of regretted it because I wanted to do more to it, but I never did. And I never did anything like oil changes to it. I always took it in. I was always intimidated. I'll let that rest for there. And so I always took it in. I was always intimidated, and I never did anything to the car. So then later on I got more into cars, and I decided, you know what, I'm buying a car. And that's when I came into the Mustang, and I wanted a Mustang, and I really wanted to work on cars. That's why I got something a little older, 2003, and I really wanted to work on cars. And I was just intimidated. I was just intimidated at the fact of, oh my God, I need all these tools, I need all these things, I need all this knowledge. And in reality, nowadays you can go on YouTube and figure out anything. My dipstick is right over here. And I just want to twist and pull out. Kind of clean the first time. Make sure it's clean. Because I did start the engine because my car was in the grass. And I moved it over here to the driveway. Okay. Alright, so I don't know if you guys can see. Alright, so I don't know if you guys can see, but that oil is right around here. It's kind of like you can see that glaze of oil right around here by max. So I'm good. I should be good. But yeah, that's it. That's all it is for an oil change. You just unscrew. Guys, real quick. Unscrew the top end, then unscrew the bolt from the bottom. Let that drain. Take out the oil filter. Add a new oil filter. Screw it back up, and then add some oil, and that's it for an oil change. So next, I'm gonna get things ready for this coolant change. This is gonna be the first time that I see with you guys what this coolant looks like. So if you guys ever want to change your own coolant, it tells you on the reservoir. Let me put some shade. So it says no orange, only yellow. Some cars call it gold. So let's check it out. Always do this when the car's cool, because this gets pressurized, and when you open it up, it says right there on the thing cap, it says 16 psi when the car's on. And so 16 psi with some hot liquid can get everywhere. All right, so if we take a look right inside. It's honestly not bad, like at all. Like, I've seen other cars, my Jetta had it way worse than this. So kind of some oxidation happens going through the engine block and things like that. But I've seen reservoirs, like my Jetta the Jetta had, the entire thing was orange because of all the oxidation. So this isn't too bad. I'm just probably gonna change the fluid. I was gonna think about doing like a flush, kind of shoving a hose in there. I might still shove the hose in there just to clear out maybe some stuff, but I'm definitely not doing like a super flush or anything like that. So let's get started. I left the reservoir open on the top, and now what I have to do is crack open, I don't know if you can see it, this little plastic bolt. So when you retighten it, like just snug. You don't have to over tighten this thing. It's plastic and it will break. So if you have one, what I noticed is, so when you crack it up there, there's this little like cavity that opens up right here, but it's aiming straight for this. And I don't know how pressured it's gonna be. Like, I don't wanna just make more of a mess. So I had a tube and it wasn't the size, so I heated it up and kind of like stuck a screwdriver in there to open it up some. But it should, I tested it out, and hold on, now it's giving me trouble when the video's on. Reheated it up, opened it up some more, and attached it to that little valve, spigot, whatever you want to call it. All right, now let me crack this, and the minute I crack it, it's gonna start pouring out. So I'm gonna try and hold it at the same time. This one here is a 19 mil, or it's an Allen key in the middle. So I guess whichever one you have, whether an Allen key or, oh, maybe it's taking a little longer than I thought. There it is. Alright, now I'll just leave that because that'll be pouring out there for a while. It's already kind of just doing like a small drip there at the bottom. I'm gonna shove a hose in here and just kind of take out all that gunk that's in there. It will overflow a little bit, but it's just water, so I'm not worried about it. Alright, so that is squeezing some other stuff out. And it's helped clean up a little bit. I just wanted to show you guys kind of how that looked and after of me just shoving the hose in there, kind of getting whatever gunk that was in there kind of loose and through the system. But it looks a lot better. That's all it really needed, was just coolant change and kind of some pressure in the system to kind of push out all that just buildup that it had. It is done dripping. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tighten this back up. But remember guys, this is plastic, so you just need to tighten it up. When you feel resistance, like I just did, I'm gonna give it a little, and that should be good. This is the part I am looking forward to the most. I'm using the no spill coolant funnel that I showed you guys earlier, and so it has different adapters, and what you do is you basically, with the ring down, you kind of check which one fits the most, and they should seat in, and there's typically a lip on the top of these that allows it to just stop. And so then you kind of get the attachment that fits best. So this one, and I'm just putting it on snug, and then you put that in there, and that's it. Just go around the camera here. and I'll probably check under the car, making sure that there's no leaks or anything. It stopped bubbling up, so now I'm gonna crank on the car just so that it can kind of take down whatever fluid it needs left. So I'm going to leave the car on for a little bit, kind of just to make sure, you see, look, it's starting to take in all that. As the car warms up, the thermostat's opening up, allowing coolant through the entire system. So I'm going to wait about maybe 10 minutes, have the car running for about 10 minutes, let it get to like operating temperature, and I'll continue filling it up as that happens. As it kind of lowers, I'll fill up more, lowers, fill up more. It's been about 10-15 minutes already, and this is my favorite part of this whole kit. So they call it a no spill because you put like this rod in there, and then you just pull it out. I put the coolant back into the bottle, and then now you kind of just take it off, and you have a full reservoir of coolant in there. So I'm gonna take the car around probably for like a 5-minute drive, just to make sure that everything is good. I'm gonna keep an eye on the coolant kind of temperature of the car, and also keep an eye on the oil pressure, since we did that as well. Make sure that you guys have just make sure that I have no leaks and things like that. I already checked under the car. It doesn't look like there is any leaks or anything like that, which is good. I am back at the house, and the car drove perfect. So let's see look at the gauges over here. Car's still on, and we have oil pressure. It's kind of always been a little bit to the right, and so I'm not worried. That's exactly what it's been doing, and the car's not overheating. That dial is straight up, that one right there, and that's what it's kind of always been at. So I think I did a decent job with TItan2Valve today. Oil change and a coolant change. So today's video was kind of to help you guys understand. I was intimidated, just like y'all can be, with cars. I never did. I remember I had a 2014 Jetta GLI. Ton of people tune them, do a ton of things to them, and I never did anything to it because I was kind of intimidated. And then I kind of was like, all right, I want to do this. This is something I really want to do. And I just started one day, and the first thing I did to this car was an oil change. And saw that it was super easy. This is my second oil change I did. This is my first time doing the coolant change, so I'm learning with you guys through this process. This is the first car I've ever done a build to, I've ever done anything with. Remember, share the video, like the video, all right, and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed it. Like the video though. Smash that like button so that YouTube knows that I make okay content, at least some okay content for you guys that you guys somewhat enjoy, and kind of come back and watch, so that YouTube kind of shows other people that, and maybe there's other people out there that don't kind of have that courage. They're kind of timid on the fact of, I want to start doing stuff with my car, but I don't really know how. Videos like these help people kind of build that courage to jump into the car community and understand that doing this stuff is not hard at all. Doing this stuff is so easy. Like, working on cars is super easy. Sometimes it can get frustrating, and sometimes you make a mess, just like I did. But at the end of the day, it's all about having fun, and it's all about taking care of something that you enjoy and something that you kind of find value to. But that's it from me, guys. Remember, like, share, subscribe. I love you guys. Peace.